have a whole lot to say about it. It's a really unfortunate thing that happened, and you know, also unfortunate, Jonathan Majors
What's
and
unfortunate about him?
his legal troubles.
Oh, okay, yep.
You know, he's been in and out of court the last few months after the incident he had with his former girlfriend. It was his then girlfriend at well, yeah,
Well, we don't even know.
we're not sure.
We don't even know.
We're not sure. But yeah, so there's some updates there.
There are updates. What are the updates?
Well, they were going to, I guess they were considering pressing charges against the ex girlfriend for her part in the altercation that happened between the two of them,
Yep.
where she got physical with him.
Right.
They later decided to throw it out, so she will not be charged. One of the arguments from Jonathan Majors' legal team was that she was the aggressor in the situation that happened between the two of them, but that seems to have been thrown out by the other side. So, um, yeah, and I think they go back to court this month.
Yes. So the news cycle was buzzing all over the place. All these different publications were putting out that the ex girlfriend was locked up. She was going to be on trial, blah, blah, blah. Most of the headlines said Jonathan Major's ex girlfriend, insert name, because I don't remember it, insert name, was arrested for the same incident. And so a lot of people just read that headline and assumed exactly what you just said. She was the aggressor. She was going to be put on trial. She's going to jail. Not the case. She turned herself in to Manhattan District Attorney offices, and Manhattan District Attorneys decided a long time ago that they were not going to press charges. And so it was just a, what's the word I'm using here? When you have to do something, but it's really not.
Formality.
Yes, thank you. It was just a formality. Because of the way everything went, they had to at least bring her in and process her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all dismissed and dropped immediately. There is no, they said, I'm not saying, Manhattan District Attorney said there is no evidence to even put a charge of any kind towards her. And so everything is done. It's over. She's finished with the legal process against her. There is no legal process against her.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening is they had to get through with that to get back to the Jonathan Majors situation. And Jonathan Majors' situation continues later this month. His trial starts later this month.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we'll see how all of this plays out. This has been going on for quite a while, so it's, we just kind of have to wait and see what happens. But with that, his name has also been buzzing in the Disney slash Marvel. I was gonna say universe, but it feels weird to use the word universe in that way when you're talking about something with Marvel.
His role in Marvel,
right,
and the Marvel universes,
the multiverse, if you will. So yeah, there's been some updates about his role, and that are seemingly were connected to what his legal troubles, but it appears to not actually be true.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. There's been some what I like to call media manipulation. Mm-hmm. Variety and other places took a small piece of a Marvel announcement, I guess you can call it, and kind of used that as a headline where, oh, Jonathan Majors is getting kicked out of Marvel because of his legal troubles. That's not what's going on. So I'm going to give the quick version. If you guys want the longer version, you can go to YouTube and look up Emergency Awesome. He's awesome, pun intended. And he breaks this down in lots of details. The quick version is Jonathan Majors is Kang the Conqueror. That's not changing. Kang the Conqueror's role in the grand scheme of things is changing. And those discussions started when Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania did not do well in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And so because Marvel saw lower numbers than expected, they felt perhaps audiences are not as connected with Kang the Conqueror as a character as they intended and anticipated. So they are considering, and more than likely will be, reducing Kang the Conqueror's role after the Kang Dynasty film. So the idea before was just like Thanos was part of multiple big films, or actually multiple Avengers films as a big role, that was supposed to be kind of the template used for Kang the Conqueror. And so that's why you see Kang being used and different variants of Kang being used throughout Marvel's Phase 4, Phase 5, and Phase 6. However, at the culmination of Phase 6 is supposed to be 2 or 3 movies where there's 2 or 3 Avengers movies that are tied together, Kang Dynasty, and then Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And so the changes that they're discussing and kind of announcing are, before it was supposed to be kind of how Infinity Wars was the first full Thanos movie, and then we saw him again in Endgame, Avengers Endgame. You would have saw Kang the Conqueror in the Kang Dynasty film, and then whatever Kang or Kangs remained, because it's supposed to be a huge war, whoever survived was supposed to come to the Avengers 6 and 7. However they're naming the films, I don't know, but it's supposed to be the Kang Dynasty. The surviving Kangs from there would come to the Secret Wars film or films, because there are now rumors that Secret Wars will not just be one movie, but it will be 2 movies. And so that villain was supposed to still come to be the end and the closing of the multiverse saga, just like Thanos in the Infinity Saga and those 2 bookend films, if you will. Now they're saying that's going to change. You will not see Kang as the big villain after that film. Those next 1 or 2 Avengers films that close out Phase 6 will be a different villain. They will be Doctor Doom. And so the way we saw Thanos slowly being weaved into the Infinity Saga films, that's what we're going to start seeing in Phase 5 with Doctor Doom. And they're going to take events from Phase 4 and Phase 5 and kind of say, hey, this stuff that was happening behind the scenes, there was this other guy you didn't know about. That guy is Doctor Doom, and he will slowly become a bigger villain than Kang the Conqueror.
So this has nothing to do with.
And they said it has nothing.
Legal
They
problem.
said all of this started, all of these plans and discussions began when Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania did not do well in like January or February, whenever it was that it came out.
And that also speaks to Marvel pushing back so many of its release dates.
That and the actor strike.
Well, yes, the
and
strike
before the writer's strike.
The strike played into that too. But this, but the Marvel multiverse and that entire world is the films and the shows that are coming out are like, a lot of them are distant, meaning Secret Wars that you're talking about is not supposed to come out until 2027. So this is a long-term plan.
Yeah.
That Marvel has. So it makes sense that there would have to be some modifications midway to try to make sure that, I mean, I'm sure they put in a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort into this multi-year plan. So it would make sense that midway they'd have to make some changes to make sure that it was all worth it.
Yeah, especially when it's not going well. Phase 4 was not well received.
Yeah.
And Phase 5 so far has not been that great either. So it makes sense that, okay, we're approaching the halfway mark of this next saga.
Right.
Cats are not really connected with it and seeking it out. Maybe it's time to make some changes. That makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Disney,
Oh, Comcast, Hulu.
Hulu.